Ow. I'm short, trying to get to the bottom of this range. We had this nice little push down here, and looks like I'm in good shape now, looking for this area to go, and these lows to be taken out here. I'm going to lock in something here, but I could see us returning all the way down to the 90 round number. I'm going to lock in at least 10 here. We have some compression coming in at the lows, and that looks good for a nice spike down there. And hopefully this compression holds here, but I don't want to be back above that volume. But I'm going to lock in 21 there, and I think we're likely to continue lower, but with this spike down and this liquidity that came in here, I really didn't want to be back above that area. But the expectation now was for us to hit this LVN. So 90-10 would have been a great exit there. I mean, obviously at the very bottom of that move, but this compression volume here that came in under this low means that there's a significant limit buyer here, in my opinion. And so I'll take the 21. Talk a little bit more about what I was trading here. So we had this very big imbalance down here. We can see on the profile this is a pretty pronounced LVN. We had these highs here, so our last buyer came in here, sellers came in here again, buyers try to come back up, push up here, and this was our last attempt higher into this space. And here was our last seller was here at 91.41. So when we pushed right here, I entered at this level for the push down here, looking for this entire range to be taken out. And we definitely had some volume here, so it was a little bit of a concern, but I was able to get my risk off into that area anyway. So, and now here we are approaching that 90 round number, which would have been a fantastic exit. And looking, probably expectation is to come back down into this range here. So, and that's exactly what we're doing, down to this 91. So I took 21. Now, obviously, it looks really good, but like I said, this compression volume, this large limit buyer coming in under these lows could have definitely held here. And even if it didn't hold, I could see price all the way back up here to my entry, back up to fill in this space. So I really didn't want to see that happen after having a real nice trade there. I'm long here on the ES and looking for these highs to go here. All of this is tested in week. We really could see price all the way back up to the 70. But I need this area to hold right here. Stop will be down below this. But we spiked down below this low back into previous demand. And now I just need this area to hold and for these tops to be taken out. We're pulling back to the volume here. So I really want this, need this to hold to stay in this trade. And we have this also this little LVN area here, so that supports my trade. And now we're pushing deep back down into this area. I don't really want to see price back down below that, but we have this volume supported here as well. But looks like I'm probably going to be taken out here. Yeah, not looking good. Pulling back to this volume here, kind of this flip zone. But now we're kind of stuck below this last buyer. So that's it for me. I'm out there on that one. I would still like to be long here out of this area. This is a kind of a major flip area here. You can see these bar highs. So this is where our last sellers came in to take the low a day here as well. So if we can hold this area on some increased volume and get back above these last minor sellers, I'll try to get this long on again. Trying this again right at the level. So this is a little bit more risky because we are still into this seller here, but I like the idea and the concept because we're right at this flip. So I just need a nice push here, and we should be, this trade should have a chance. So that's a nice little push. So I need price to get back up into above that 57 now. We got some volume coming in. Have some this volume coming in here, so being that I'm right at that level, I'm going to get my risk off early here on this one. This is our untested area here for this trade, so this is potentially trouble. So anything above 67 I'll be but we really could have a nice large cascade of trade. So I'm going to put my target up here at 68, which is a huge target here. But this thing has a pretty nice potential to run a long way. So we'll see. Now that's a really good push here. So I'll be looking to lock something in on this trade. But this is all weakness. Weak, 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 weak. 70, really 70, around 70 would be my ultimate target on this one. You have some volume coming in at the high where this last seller was, which is to be expected, but nothing big at all. So I wouldn't anticipate that we would have a major seller coming in here with what we've seen so far, but it could happen. I would hope that we could push above that last bar volume there, but I have the volume above me here now, unfortunately. Pushing deeper than I would like, but I'm going to hold it. I'm going to watch how this tests this volume now, this limit selling here on this bar, but this looks real good for my trade now. So we held this volume here, and now we just got to push above. I would expect this definitely goes from here, but you never know. Little volume coming in above again, which is good, but it's really nothing significant at all. And I was taken out on that one for a break even. It's a little bit unfortunate to give back. I had 6.5 points of equity on that trade when we pushed up to these highs, and then now we're coming back down to test this volume, and I would now expect again another test of this last buyer here in the LVN area, and I would be looking possibly for a re-entry. But now we have selling coming all the way back in from up here, so it's going to be a little harder to get an entry. But anywhere in the bottom of this range, at some point I definitely would expect upside back to take out this weakness. But I had two trades today in the ES, both had 6 points of equity. So it's a little frustrating because that's 12, almost 13 points of equity, and I took a 2-point winner on the first one. But what else I like, I traded my first short to come back in to take out this line here, this 50, which was the lows of previous day's lows here, these 52s. So, and then we did that on very large volume. So now my expectation is all of the stops were taken out. Big limit buyers absorbed the majority of that volume and was unable to push lower. So not saying that it won't push lower, but it really supports the long, and with the weakness above with all of these sellers, all of this selling here. Ideally, what I would like to see is to come down and take out these lows, the liquidity below these lows in this range, and don't know if it's going to happen, but because we're very likely to return to this area if we have a large move up first to take out the liquidity, absorb this, and then push higher, and then take out the top side of this range. So now we have taken out the low side of this range with selling here, this last little selling push coming back into demand. Now the question is, do we reverse here or do we move lower? I don't know. So if we continue lower, obviously the long side in the short term isn't valid right now. So that's what I'll be watching for. So now that we are down below our structure here, it makes the long trade much more difficult trading back up into trouble into here in this structure. So I would fully expect, obviously, that we're going to test. We've already tested the volume from the lows and likely going to take that out. If there are large buyers in here, which also makes sense because they'll be trying to suck up the equity on the limit below these lows. So, but we very well may sell off. I mean, sellers are definitely in control of this market right now. So, looking for a reversal at this point probably doesn't make sense. Probably trading for a downside continuation, but being down here at the lows again, I don't have a short trade.